asking the third question, which is how can people access the resources?
So there we have advocate station right now virtually in different places. We have an advocate at the DSHS office. So if somebody, let's say a family needs to get their state benefits going, or they need direction of where to go, if they go to the DSHS counter or they talk to somebody in the DSHS office for us here in Clark County or for Vancouver, they can say that they are a survivor or they can request to talk to an advocate. And we usually, if we know that somebody's going to go there, we will say, hey, you know, Vicky is our advocate at the office. You can always ask for Vicky, and then that person will start working directly with that advocate, as opposed to working with somebody who is not educated in their case. And then the advocate also communicates with us. And oftentimes that's how we do wraparound services, and we sort of like work different angles of the needs that this person has. We have an advocate at the DVPC office at the Domestic Violence Prosecution Center. Again, if somebody has a criminal case going, then that person will be the intermediary, and oftentimes do the referrals for legal services, talk to the prosecutors, attorneys. That person also sits at the DVPO docket, the Domestic Violence Protection docket, as support, and oftentimes also for those who are not receiving services, but they need it, so that they can offer it and say, hey, I know they're having problems with this order. You might want to contact, I don't know, Anna or VLP, or, you know, to sort that out. So that we also have a housing justice specialist that works closely with the Vancouver Housing Authority, Council for the Homeless, SHARE as well, again, for housing, shelter, and she is a really good resource when it comes to grants that are coming in, especially low barrier grants, or any grants that are available for survivors when it comes to, you know, being late on the rent or relocation, or, you know, getting on the list for council. So, you know, she's there. Like I said, I personally have relationships with, you know, different partners in the communities, everybody from Lutheran to VLP, and, you know, we also work with BULAC. And so I can assist with a variety of things. And of course, we have the advocates at the community office as well. And my understanding is that the same thing happens with other departments. So for sexual assaults, they have really good relationship with the hospital. So if somebody wants to, you know, need to go to the hospital, all they have to do is tell the nurse that they want to talk to an advocate, or they want to, you know, receive services or support from an advocate, and that nurses automatically will contact one for them. And they also work with, they're also present at the dockets. CASA is obviously always assisting the children with the court and the parents. So there are multiple locations where a person, you know, might need to go, or might be, you know, unfortunately has to go, where they can find us. And part of my work work with outreach is so that that person, you know, those agencies have that information. And that even law enforcement, you know, unfortunately for Clark County, they do get a lot of calls for domestic violence. The great majority of calls that they receive are for domestic violence. So part of our work is that that those officers are educated, and that they have that information, and that our names are present in the pages that they're getting handed to the families, and that that person will have the tools to go where they need to go, and to contact who they need to contact, so that they can, you know, bring themselves to safety.
So for the free clinic, people access the services. It used to, pre-COVID at least, it was first come, first serve. So you didn't have an appointment, you would show up, and depending on how many providers we had volunteering that night, it would determine how many patients we can see that night. or that morning, depending on which day of the week it is. But we did have clinics in the morning and then twice a week clinics in the evenings because people have to work and can't always get childcare or can't get the day off. So it used to be first come, first serve, you just show up. Now it's by appointment. So you have to call the clinic and they try to see if whatever issue you're having can be solved by a telehealth appointment. So like a virtual appointment, because the last thing we want to do is put anyone at risk for getting COVID right now, especially if they're already having issues accessing healthcare services. So right now it's virtual, or if it's needed, because sometimes it is needed for the doctor to lay hands on the patient or to see something in person, we'll set up an appointment with whoever provider, and we make sure everything's clean and the providers are all wearing masks, and so are the interpreters. And even the patients are there, everyone's masked up and nobody is in the waiting room. But so yeah, for right now it's phone call. Same with the dental program through the free clinic, it's all phone call. And then they set up the appointment. The other way to do it is to go online to see if there are any events going on. So right now, I'm not sure, actually they might be done with it, but there was a couple Saturdays in October, and I think last Saturday or the Saturday before, they were doing a drive-through flu shot clinic. So you just showed up and got your flu shot if you didn't have insurance to cover the cost of a flu shot in any of the regular locations that they're doing, like pharmacies and stuff like that. For LULAC, it's mostly contacting someone who is a member. So knowing someone who's a member or knowing where to find that information, which isn't the best because sometimes people don't know where to find the information or they don't know someone who is in LULAC. But we're pretty easy to find online. LULAC, National LULAC has its own page, web page to find your closest chapter. And then we usually try to include in all of our events some sort of contact information or address of where to go, or an email or something. But that's how people access those services if we're doing some sort of event, or if we have a resource available that we want the community to know about. It should have some sort of email, phone number, website address to go and access it.
There we go. I think Boys and Girls Clubs, we're place-based services, and the best way is to come to one of our clubs and see what's going on. You can right now, we know that's not always possible or the best way to do it. So recommend people to call their local club, and I'll put our website in the chat. There's contact information for each of our sites, and they're spread across Vancouver. So I think that's a good place to learn a little bit on the website, but really calling and talking to somebody. I'll also put my contact information in the chat, and if folks have questions or want to learn more, please call or email, or I don't know.